but if you don't, it'll look shaky.
Alright. Tell him I'm almost. Yeah, because what I'm gonna have to do, I'm just gonna have to hook my iPad and I'm just gonna set it in front of it.
Okay.
That's all good.
Thought you starting the countdown.
I am. My bad.
I don't really know what that back, what I'm gonna look like in the background, but it's all good.
I've been searching for more. When will I find it? When will I see it? What will I do? When will I know?
Good evening. Welcome to Higher Definition. We were just talking about, before everyone came on, some of the magic behind the mess ups that we've had on the show. And sure enough, I'm out here creating a mess up in the first part of the show. I want to thank everyone for watching, joining us tonight. Looking forward to this discussion on first date deal breakers with men. For the people that joined us on the women's topic, I can tell you what I took out of it. A man can be slow as a box of rocks. He ain't got to have a job. The only thing he can't do is go to jail because they ain't going to be able to travel. But anything other than that, women are good with it. So I want to make sure we have a conversation with the men to have the same conversation. Mr. Abel, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I think that might be a slight misrepresentation of the female point of view. But everything's going good. Huh?
Oh, go ahead. I was saying you're putting your cape on, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, we had a good week, man. You might mention it later on, but we had a good time at Pastor Ed Gerdin's church yesterday, men's fellowship. And it was great, man. It's a good way to jump start your week, man, just with a great discussion, great group of guys. Looking forward to another event like that again.
All right. And my main man, T talked himself onto a show. Last week, he all in the comments, laughing, falling out on the floor. T, how's it going, sir?
It's going pretty good. The good thing is I was literally laughing and falling out on the floor. Like, that boy Just Stone, man, he's pure magic. If he ever want to go into comedy, I think I'll put some money behind him. I do believe that. Everything's going fine. I think I told you, I was telling you, I went to that ACC championship Florida State game last night. And so that was cool. That was a great experience. Tailgating and all that was pretty good. There's my old college teammate, Julian Irby.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Again?
Good. I would say Julian doing a lot of moving around and flexing, but we'll wait till we get to him. Julian,
how's it going?
Old college roommate. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Teammate.
Oh,
I couldn't live with that boy.
Nah. Especially nah.
All right. How's your week been, sir?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good, man. All over the place. Trying to get a couple things accomplished.
Well, I'm hoping that's working out for you, sir. We're looking forward to the discussion.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Right. I am too.
Mr. Ponder, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Lamont, T, Julian, Everett, of course. I'm first time on the show. Happy to be here. I had a great week. A little disappointed in that college football thing today, but we'll talk about that on another show. Hopefully I get to join again. I'm terribly disappointed, man.
Disappointed?
Yeah, come on, man.
All right. We ain't gonna let the show get off the rails this week, cause
yeah, we won't let it get off the rails. No. But Alabama, who? Come on. All right.
Oh goodness. So I want to thank everyone again for watching. We're gonna be talking about first date deal breakers from the men's side. Like I said, we had a very interesting conversation, and it's all spurred from a lot of videos that we've saw go viral, where I don't want to call women new age women. But women are saying they don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory. That's beneath them. So I want to start there. And T, as a man, business owner, and I'm trying to word all my questions right, so I don't get anybody in any kind of trouble. If you were out on the dating scene and a woman refused to go to Cheesecake, saying it's beneath her, what are your thoughts on that?
I usually try to play the middle ground, but I can't on this one. I can't do that. That was the most absurd thing I ever seen in my life. It was disappointing. It was so many words that I can't even think that, not that Cheesecake Factory is a 5-star restaurant or anything, but like, I think if they were saying like, I thought we were going somewhere different, I might have could have stomached that. But to be like, that X's him off the list of somebody I would ever think about dating, we done fell a long way, man. Like we Do what? So if I tell you I'm gonna take you to Cheesecake Factory, that means I'm not dating material. Yeah, I had a big problem with that. That kind of coincided. I don't know if you guys had a show. That clip with Iyanla Van Sant, and the lady said she wouldn't date a bus driver. And
let's go back to that.
Okay,
I'm gonna go to that one.
All those types of things, though, it's really bothering me, man. And I feel like personally, even her answer there was like, when I see women online, a lot of times I got to be honest, they are all. There seems like it's all monetarily based. Even when they say leadership, it sounds like money to me. Even when they say protecting, it seems like it's always leaning toward money. And I thought her comment was great about. I never hear them talk about integrity, honesty, decency, respect. What type of son he is to his mother. I don't never see that. And obviously social media discourse is kind of, reality TV-ish, but it's went far when all you hear people say is, I ain't splitting 50-50. I want to be a kept woman. Don't take me to Cheesecake Factory. Jesus Christ. Get to know the guy, man. I'm going to stop there because I could go on and on and on.
Mr. Ponder, look like you ready to jump into this. So come on.
I am laughing at, it's my first time meeting you guys, and T, I'm trying to tell you what, boy, we're kindred spirits, man. I don't get it. Maybe they don't know how much that cheesecake costs per slice at the Cheesecake Factory. I don't know. It's like what, $10 a slice, right? So it's not like you're actually going into like a Burger King, But I agree with you, man. It's almost like in today's society. Well, if you look at it, that society is telling everybody, have it your way. It's your Burger King, have it your way. We done went from a page on Facebook to Facebook to people thinking they own Facebook. They live their lives on it. So it's almost like, okay, what's wrong with some of these restaurants? Now I looked at the list, man. Now some of them I don't even go to. So if she says she don't want to go to Denny's, I don't have no problem with that. I don't eat at Denny's. You know what I'm saying? But I like Waffle House. Okay. For a first date, no, we may not go there because maybe we can't get to know each other. It's the Waffle House experience. Come on. We could be a little closer. But the Cheesecake Factory, it actually, it stood out to me. I'm like, okay, what's really going on? And you alluded to something, about the protection. I agree with that. I'm old school. I want to protect you. But in this day and age, if we are in a partnership, then on our first date, we can split the bill. So you can go where you want to go. We can go to Ruth Chris. You're gonna pay your half, please. And then we get to know each other. Then I'll pick up the tab, because chivalry is not dead. But okay, man, it's interesting. I'm gonna leave some space for the other guys because this one right here, woo.
Julian, a man of you moving around a lot make me think you're nervous. So
no, I can't get stable right now. But yeah, my thoughts on this. My thoughts are really along the line of what Tamaya was talking about, as far as like everything is like it's almost everything is set up to pretty much outdo each other, or everything is so social media based where it's almost like especially when it comes to women, like they all trying to keep up with other women that's actually on social media, whether it's trips, whether it's dinners, whether it's certain things that I just feel like women these days, they focus more on making a social media moment than actually what the date is all about in getting to know the actual person. But I can't say that's all women. I have run into women where it's more so us just spending time together, whether whether we, doing something like walking in the park or just meeting at a beautiful spot in Uptown. But I could pretty much tell right away, like, if I'm going to be interested on how they approach the actual first date.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in so far. We got a lot of our regular guests tuned in, and probably some people I don't know also. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on Cheesecake Factory. Is that a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or nah, you ain't able to do it? Mr. Abel. And then first of all, Jimmy Dixon just jumped in there to let everyone know I'm right. So we're gonna start off the show with that, and we'll go to Mr. Abel. Come on, man, Cheesecake Factory.
Well, I ain't never been to the Cheesecake Factory, so I can't really say. Nah, I haven't been there. This list really is not as offensive to me as it is to a lot of other people. Mainly because like I understand that like everybody don't want to be with me. You know what I mean? And I ain't for everybody, and everybody ain't for me. And I think people just need to wrap their mind around the idea that everybody ain't meant to be together. You know, so if you know, again, like when I was dating, if a woman, if you got like certain spots, kind of like what Daryl says, like it's like maybe you got a bad experience or you just don't like a particular spot, but you got like a long list of just regular restaurants that you can't go to. And hey, we ain't in the same league. We ain't in the same class. You used to, you know, somebody a little bit big time to me. And that don't offend me at all. Like I want to, when I go out, I just want to have fun. Like, and for me, if it costs $200 for me to have fun with you, then one of us or both of us is just too boring to be together. You know, so that's my whole point of the way of looking at it. Like I can't, like I ain't one of these people that'll put rims on a rental car. Like you making an investment in something that really you have no ownership in. So take the time to get to know a person, and then like me and my wife, that's the first time I really started spending money. Like after I got married, like we go to nice places, not every day, not every week, but every now and then we'll go to a nice restaurant and you know and do it right, but not doing that on a first date. And if a woman needs that, then okay, I'm sure there are, you know, 2 or 3 guys out there could do it, and you know, millions of women fighting over the same 2 or 3 guys. God bless you. You know, good luck.
And I want to bring up Kevin Samuel so bad, but go ahead, Tobias.
I think it's important to notate, and I can't remember how you phrased the question, but the real topic here isn't does a woman like Cheesecake Factory or is it her favorite restaurant? It is the fact that you are outraged and won't date the guy if he wants to take you to the Cheesecake Factory. That nuance is very different than, I think, would everybody agree with that? Not saying a woman can't take the Cheesecake Factory ain't up her alley, or I didn't really want to go there, you know, let's try somewhere else. The point was, she said the women were saying that guy's X'd out.
It ain't good enough.
If he wants to take her to Cheesecake Factory.
Right. First date. That's why I'm just like, oh, okay. That's a little strange, man. If we were to X out, we'll get to that in a minute. I don't know who in the comments just yet, so we're gonna pace ourselves on this one.
If you're a man on your first date and the young lady or the lady wants to bring her kids on the first date, you know, going to a restaurant and she shows up with her kids. Julian, what's your next move, man? She shows up with her kids.
I don't really take too much offense to that. But you know, it all depends. Like, because I sometimes respect the approach of a woman that you know kind of wants to keep a new man away from her kids until she sees that it's going to be some kind of stability there, some kind of consistency there. So that would kind of throw me off in that way, because bringing kids, you know, to visit or to meet a potential stranger is just something that makes me look at it in a different way. So yeah, but I probably wouldn't lead on to it. You know, I would go through with it, and I'll probably still, you know, depending on the conversation, depending on how the things went, that I probably would still you know, give it a chance. Definitely.
You pay for the meal of the kid, and
I'm laughing because I was wondering if Julian was going to say all that. I was thinking about Kanye's song, which says she ain't a gold digger, but she ain't messing with a broke. And he said he got to take all her kids to he got to take care of all of them. But you know what, man, I'm kind of with Julian on this. I wouldn't, because I don't know what her situation is. So maybe she tried to get someone to take care of her kids and that didn't work out. So she's kind of in a position where I have them, but I also want to go out with you. But I also understand too, like that would be for me, like, nah, I don't know if you should introduce them to me on our first date. I think that's a privilege that's earned, not something that's just thrown out haphazardly. Because for me, I'm going to wonder, like, okay, is this what you do? How many men have your kids seen? You know, and why this? You know, it's too many questions. And I wouldn't want to belittle her in the question and answer session just because she brought her kids. So for me, it would have to be first date, especially if it's a date. It's a no-no.
Man, yo, tough. T, come on. She bring her twin boys on the date, man. You good? And are you paying for the meal?
Uh-oh.
I hate to be the bearer to make everything so specific, but certain things change the whole tenor. Which the way you're stating it, did we have a conversation that she was going to do it, or
Nope.
Okay, you left it open to interpretation. Okay, she just that's a. I mean, we could be you know. Usually, I said it earlier. I'm a 50-50 guy. I play the fence. I can be accommodating to even things not going my way. That is absurd. That's just as absurd as the women Xing people out for going to Cheesecake Factory. If I thought me and you were going on a date and then you showed up with your kids, now obviously I think all of us have some decorum here. I'm not gonna walk out the restaurant. I think of that show. I always laugh at that show on MTV. It used to be a show called Next on MTV. And sometimes the people would be walking up and the people would say next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that used to be hilarious. Like you would get a chance and the people might start saying crazy stuff to him. Well, forget you then. But I wouldn't do that to him when she walked in with her kids. I wouldn't. But that would put her in the Cheesecake Factory range of what the women think about the Cheesecake Factory. That'll put her in that zone of like, man. And I probably would ask her later. I mean, in my younger years, I think I might not. But now that as you get older, you start saying how you feel, still with some tact, though. I would ask her, like, what was that about? Like, why you didn't tell me beforehand? Like, you know, that wasn't cool. I enjoyed our conversation because even if I'm asking her this probably meant I liked her. But we got to clear this up. We got to clear your judgment or lack thereof up moving forward.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions behind that one, T, because you're wondering, like, so what was her purpose? You know, are you looking for somebody to fill a spot, or you it's just too much. That's too much.
I already know Everett Abel's answer to this, but I'm gonna ask him anyway.
Well, I don't know if you know it or not. Like, you know, I'm you know, I ain't gonna use the C word. I would say I'm very well, I guess it is C word. I'm cautious with money. With things like that, but I'm soft-hearted too, man. Like, somebody show up with a bunch of kids, like, I'm not gonna not let the kids eat. I probably would have just, you know, went on ahead, went through with it, paid for it. You know, be nice to the kids, and then just not call her again.
Cry about it later, huh?
Yeah, I just never talk to her again. You know, like, because my mind, I'm thinking like you just. I'm the guy you just want to play, you know, for an easy meal, you know, man. And nah, I'm good, man. Like, we got like public assistance and all types of charities out here to help you out with your kids. Ain't really my, you know, range right there. So, you know, but like, you know, like I said, I'm soft-hearted. I'm not just going, because I'm thinking about the kids. Like, look, what are they seeing? Like, somebody just treating their mother disrespectfully or something like that, just from their point of view. So I'm gonna try to. I would try to, you know, be nice about it, but then just not talk to them again.
So when she reach out and say, "Hey, Everett, what's up? What's
I mean, you saw what was up.
Oh, look.
Like, no, man. And then too, like, people, like, I'm not a mean guy, but like, people kind of know when I'm not happy, you know. It ain't
So they got a guess.
It ain't gonna be no big mystery.
I guess I'm asking, would you tell her, would you be transparent about, in a serious way, if she reaches out and say, "Hey, I liked you, you know, we're not communicating anymore, like, what, you know, what's the problem?"
I can't. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Like, it ain't beyond me to just say, okay, yeah, no point in us talking no more.
Okay, that's what I was asking. That's what
like I said, I wouldn't want to do that in front of the kids, though. You know, like, that's just.
We got that.
Hey, Hey, Lamont, question for the guys then. So let's flip this up a little bit. So what if, okay, the date is set, the time, the place, wherever that place may be, and she calls and says, hey, listen, I'm having some problems, because you already know she has kids. I'm having some problems. I don't have a babysitter. I still want to go out with you. Can I bring my kids? What do you say?
Hey, guess what? I'm having problems too. Let's link back up next week.
Oh, all right.
I think that's a better example, Daryl, because I think the other one is absurd.
Right,
But-
right.
Okay,
But-
all right.
But that one is within the realm of,
Okay.
of sense, or something where some people could deal with. I think more people could deal with. I still think the average person is going to say, let's just pick a different time, because we only talked about it from the point of, I think Julian mentioned it, and do you say, is it Daryl or Darrell?
Daryl.
Julian mentioned it, and I think Daryl did too, that talked about how it reflects on the woman meeting, but we haven't spoken yet on how I feel about meeting your kids.
Right.
That I'm not ready to meet your kids, and not in a mean, crass way or anything like that. I'm trying to get to know you to see if that's something so far down the line for me. And yeah, we would pick a different time, different day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I think we pick a different time.
And
Not to mention if she showed with her kids and Baby's kids.
Too, boy, I was thinking that earlier too. I was like, whose kids are these Baby's kids?
Now y'all trying to make us walk out. All of us said we wouldn't walk out. All of us said we wouldn't walk out. Now y'all trying to make us walk out.
Well, we know, except for Everett. Everett said he's gonna pay for all of them.
She come in with more kids than she told me. Next.
So
Oh my God.
ask this from the 2023 dating world, and especially with this group of men we have right now. Black females are the highest educated block of people in this country. It's the black female, African American female, since like the late 80s, early 90s. So a lot of women's earning power, especially African American women, earning power is a lot higher than men right now, through a lot of different means. What's the 2023 vibe about dating a woman that makes more money? And let's say significant amount, 30,000 to 30,000 plus more than they make. Do you date with? Are you okay with that? T, I'll start with you.
Am I okay with the woman making $30,000 or more than me? Absolutely. I don't see this question almost seems like a simple answer to me. Obviously, you can't speak for everybody, but I never think the issue is does she make more money than me? I think it's how does she make me feel, or how does the relationship make me feel with her making more money than me? I would hope anybody. And her making more money than me, I think people always only think about the low end of the totem pole. They always putting the guy at 40 and putting her at 140. What if I make 140 and she make 190? Like that's fine. I can't see. And I always say the middle to upper middle class is like we're the lost part of African American community. Nobody never talks about us. We either want to talk about the people shooting up Chicago or Jay-Z and Beyonce. And so I honestly think in that question, nobody's never thinking about a guy making 140 and her making 170, which seems like it'll be fine. I would think. I always think that the social media phrases it of the man being a bum making 30 and her making 130. And that's not most of us. I don't think most of my friends are not in that. Most of my friends fall in that other category that I just explained. They will be making six figures and their wife might be making higher six figures. And I don't take any issue with that. I think if you're secure, first of all, going into a relationship, a marriage, it's a partnership to me. And I always looked at it like this. If we make $500,000 together, I always felt like even when I see men doing women in that way, I feel like we are supposed to have a $500,000 lifestyle, not you have a $440,000 lifestyle and she has a $60,000 lifestyle. I think that's where things become iffy. It starts contempt when you make 440 and she makes 60, and you and your boys go to Turks and Caicos on a helicopter, and she's struggling to get her lashes done. So, no, I wouldn't have a problem at all with my.
See, every time you on, I always be thinking you be speaking for some groups of people that I don't know nothing about. some society, black folks out here that I ain't ran across like their rare speeches. Let me go to Mr. Ponder, and then I'll come back to you.
What was so different about? What was so wrong about? You don't know men make.
There's a lot of relationships that I know of that the woman earns a significant more amount of money than a black man. Like, especially a lot of women who went to college and the husband didn't. Like, I know a lot of relationships like that. The way I'm hearing you say it is like that ain't it. It's just more of $10,000 difference.
Well, you heard what you wanted to hear, because what I said was we only speak on the ones that you're saying you heard of, and we never speak of this other faction of people that do exist.
Mr. Ponder.
Woo. I hear you, T. I hear you. For me, I don't see that a problem, because there's a couple of things we got to establish. We're on our first date. What she does and has made her money, that's separate of me. That's separate of me. So if we're on our first date, she makes more money. If she offers to pick up the tab out of her kindness, that's great. I'm
taking that?
Say no. I would probably say no, but the offer, man, that would just probably just be, icing on the cake. So if she makes more money, if I'm not a prideful person, if I'm secure in myself, that's not going to sway me either way. It's not going to sway me either way, because I'm looking at it. This is someone I'm getting to know. She makes more money. We have this conversation. She tells me what she does. And of course she reveals that, and I reveal who I am. And she's like, well, that's no problem. Hey, I pick up our slack. Okay. And that's also going to inspire me to want more, because I'm a powerful person too. I don't want her to outdo me. Not that I'm in competition with her, but I want her to make sure that when she sees me, she sees like, okay, yeah, he's striving for more as well. So hey, she makes $50,000-$60,000 more. Hey, I'm so happy for her. And hey, we're going to Ruth Chris, and if we do the math, and you're 60% and I'm 40%, and we split that tab that way. And I'll get water just to help you out.
Just on that,
just to help you out. I'll get water.
You asked the question.
Go ahead, T.
You asked the question in the prism of the first date. I think I didn't answer that correctly. Did you say that when you asked the question? Okay, go ahead.
There you go, T. Trying to direct the show, comment on the show. I got this.
I asked a question.
I got this.
All I did was ask a question. See, you ready? You ready to start? I was asking. I didn't hear you say.
I'm with you, T.
Okay.
Hey, you got it, T. Keep going.
Mr. Abel. His homeboy and dropped off. Julian like,
Yeah.
Mr. Abel.
All right, what was the question again? Women making. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, man. Everybody ain't meant to be together, man. It's just, I get T's perspective. Modern man. Hey, it ain't that big a deal. And for me, it wouldn't even be, whether or not she make more or even a lot more. It's just like, what are our lifestyles? If you used to, like eating big every week and going on like trips overseas all the time, like and for me it's just I don't know, we go to Applebee's and Myrtle Beach, like
did you say Applebee's?
Yeah,
I think Applebee's is on that list.
It's on the list.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like, so how is this even gonna work? We don't even have the same lifestyle. And for me, I'm not the type of man just to go along for the ride. Like, I don't want nobody keeping me up, because then you're gonna be wanting to tell me what to do all the time. And like, no, I just don't see that working out. Now for some people, that might be a perfect relationship, for the man and woman. But like I said, everybody ain't meant to be together. Don't be trying to force stuff that ain't meant to work.
Man, we got the whole spectrum, T, on this. We got 1950 man. Go ahead, T.
People bring so much more value other than salary to each other, though. It's,
You directed that at Everett?
Well, you try to start. You try to
No,
start.
Everett is the one who's 1940s and
I
1950s.
tell you how it's gonna go to you. At some point, it's gonna be a disagreement, and it might be over finances. And if she making double what you making, you ain't got no leverage. You can get mad.
What you?
That's a pessimistic way to look at it. In the optimistic way, I'm gonna even put it to Lamont standard, because what I said was too. She makes 190 and I make 60, and me and her come together and she shows me how to uplift myself and get my master's degree, or we start a business and we're successful together.
No, that's
right.
That's very optimistic.
I'm with you on that, T. I'm like, I'm not even going to even, I don't know. I'm not even going to worry about the money. It's our first date, I hope on our first date I'm not that deep into her life to where now I know everything, her salary, how much she bring home, how much she has coming out. I think that's probably a little heavy for a first date. So I'm just saying, if she reveals all of that, maybe she has an interest in me. She says she makes more. Oh well, I may be curious. So what are you doing? How did you do it? Listen, I'm like you, T. It might be a nugget for me. But as I said earlier, as a partnership, if she makes 75% of the income, and I'm just gonna graciously ask, do you mind getting 75% of this bill?
Boy, we go from 1940s view to
I get the tip. No, I'm just I'm just joking. But
can I respectfully ask what was the question, Lamar? What was the question? What was the exact question?
You do this every time.
You do this every time, T. Okay, T. We're gonna keep moving, and then I'm gonna say another question. You do this every time you own. You will answer something, and everybody else say something different. You be like, wait a minute, what was the question? Yeah,
all good.
I'm here for it.
Thank you, Everett, for acknowledging it ain't me. For people, if this is your first time watching, or you've been along this ride for 16 years with High Definition, and if you saw T on for the last few years, you all recognize he does the same thing every time he comes on. He gets confused. He talks about these hypothetical black folks that nobody knows of. So I just want to say, glad to have you here.
Hey, don't worry about it. Keep going.
Black folks making six figures are hypothetical. Yeah, come in the comments and tell me is Mont tripping or T tripping? I don't know.
That's the point. Let's move on. I do have a question around just the first date atmosphere or the conversation. When we had the women on, the women seem to want to know everything about you on a first date. Money, is your health good? What kind of benefits you working with? Is that the same for men? Everett, I'll start with you. Do men want to know all this on the first date?
Man, I can't speak for men. I'm just gonna speak for me.
Okay.
Like the main thing I want to know is if I like you or not. And let's just start there. Like all this other stuff, and like I've been saying the whole night, like everybody ain't meant to be together. Like I just want to know if we gonna get along. Do our personalities match? Do we have the same belief system? We have the same values. Are there any deal breakers involved? Past that, I mean, it depends. Like, if you got health problems like real bad, like I don't know, like you want to just get involved with something like that, and you don't really, know what's going on. I know that sounds kind of mean.
Yeah, that's kind of mean, Mr. Everett. You saying everything from the 1940s tonight.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, man. I guess I'm old school, but I ain't with all this new age stuff, man.
I'm gonna go to Mr. Ponder next. T, they give you 2 times to hear the question. The question relates to how much information should you provide on the first date. Darren, what are your thoughts?
Man, this one right here is different. I don't see myself giving all that information on the first date. I think our first date, we do. So part of it, the spontaneity of it is the first date. We're talking about, just different things that are going on in the world. And I'm asking questions and I'm trying to see, how does she think about certain things that are happening in the world. As far as this, okay, do I have health issues? All of this, man, that's a whole lot, because if we're going to do all that, I might as well give you my social security number, let you run a criminal background check, a sample of blood. You can have that as well. Look all of this up, just to get to the first date. It seems like we have all of these criteria built into this first date. And I'm like, on a first date, we're not going to go that. I don't think we should be going that deep. I remember my first date with my girlfriend that I'm dating now. We went to this place in Charlotte, in a university area. I think it's called the Boardwalk. And it's a lake there. And we just walked around and we just talked about different things that were going on in life. Because I wanted to know, how does she think? Now, we were friends. We had been friends for a long time. But now dating, that turned on a different switch. So now I'm like, whoa, let me see if I can really get to know her. So now I'm seeing her in a different, like, what do you think about what's going on in the world? I need to know how she thinks before I give up my social and blood samples and all of that stuff. Now, we understand women communicate a little differently. So if she was to have come at me and asked me all those questions up front, it would have been a major turnoff. Major turnoff.
No, it's amazing how different these answers for, and I'm gonna get to you, T, than the women. Like when we had women on, they wanted to know, are you diabetic? What's your credit score? Just in first date conversation, like, because they were more of an urgent situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we dating to move to a next level? And I think men operate differently. T, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Daryl, when he was talking, he mentioned like we have all this criteria, and what we should have said is women have all this criteria.
Okay. I got the W right.
and it's funny because times like they say they got mad at me just saying that, but Lamont said the last show bared that out. The last show bared that out, that they want to know all this information and all these things. I think the number one thing you're looking for on the first date is, are we both going to agree to go on a second date after this? That's what we're trying to find out. And to me, some of those other deeper nuanced things you starting to get to, are we going to be a couple? Are we going to get married? Like right now, you just need to know that, you don't need to know all the intimate details of did my mother suffer DV with my dad, and that stuff you find out when we get, I start liking you, and you start to really find out who I am and why I am this way. This date right here, all we talk about is, do you want a margarita or mojito? Hey, it's sundress season. Hey, I like the gray in your beard. I don't like the gray in your beard. Whatever. Just frivolous, not necessarily frivolous, maybe even a little more than frivolous. But I think all the men agree, like, we're not trying to get into your childhood traumas on date one. This is supposed to be fun. Like, I'm supposed to be looking at you, smiling and feeling good about what you wore or something like that. I don't need to talk about what your granddad did to your auntie, and boy, you getting. We going off the rails right now.
Right.
Yeah, this ain't therapy. This ain't no credit repair.
Yeah.
I just want to know if I like you, and that's it. And in general, it ain't nothing worse than a person who overshares in the beginning. Like, if you get to know somebody and then they start opening up and it's not even just dating, but just across the board. Like you meet a coworker first day on the job and they telling you all their childhood trauma, and like, hey, bro, relax.
That's so unattractive.
Yeah, but that's just somebody you don't really want to be around, in general. So on a date, like, come on, this is doubly. I think people just setting up the wrong expectations. They have like things in their head and they ain't really thinking it through all the way.
And this is a little outside the lane, but it make you think. You would tell all my business because you tell all your business.
Yeah.
You would tell all my business.
So T, you thinking one of her friends gonna come up and be like, I saw you on a picture, and you the one that have this. And by the way, I hope that gets better for you. She's like, oh, what? And you are.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question, and it's a general dating conversation, T. General dating conversation, T. So, in this modern world with social media, and people are very curious on who you are, Is it easier or harder to be in a relationship or date with social media? Because I'm telling you, you can tell when people have fell out, when they're happy, when they have money problems. When you see people's pictures start disappearing, you look one day and go back a week from now, it's just half the picture that used to be there. I mean, it's a cruel world out here. T, is it harder or easy to date with social media?
I think, obviously there's not even an argument to be made for it being easier. I think it's easier to find somebody to date. But as far as the particular relationship, being in a relationship or starting a real serious relationship, it's harder. There's so many, and obviously the lowest hanging fruit is fidelity. But I even think it's more nuanced with your attention. I think, and that might be just as big a problem, that not necessarily that a person finds somebody to cheat with or create infidelity with, but you're scrolling through Instagram all the time. You're scrolling through, your Facebook. You got all these messages. You got exes saying hey to you. You might not be trying to get up with them, but you got people reaching out. Your phone, that's what most people grab their phone for. Social media. I think it's much, much harder than before. Sometimes you're thinking about your phone. You could be, sitting there, your phone could be across the room. You could be thinking, I want to look at so-and-so. And the access to people, it just makes it so hard. I saw J. Cole. I think J. Cole had an interview where he mentioned something like this, talking about how, and then I think Everett has talked about this before. I can't remember, but the unreality of, all these women with these unreal shapes on Instagram. And like, that's what you're scrolling through seeing. And you start comparing to what you got or what you don't got. And in every which way, I can't think of any metric in which social media will make dating easier than the past, other than meeting somebody.
Interesting. And for people watching, joining us, we'd love to hear your thoughts also. Does social media make it easier or harder when dating? Mr. Ponder, what are your thoughts, sir?
Man, you've heard that saying, you live by the sword you die by it. I think you live by social media, you die by it. That's just, I don't see how, and I agree with T, I don't see how it's going to ever make it easier besides having a prospect per se. But I mean, even in that, you can scroll through, you can have 5,000, whatever, you can scroll through all day. And all you're doing is, looking and picking, and like you said, you're looking at a picture. I mean, with technology today, I mean, she may have a Coca-Cola bottle shape on Instagram, but it may not look like that in real life. So, I mean, people, I won't even get into all of that, but people live this big facade through social media. And I'm just like, man, this is wow. I think it is. I think it makes it even harder to date. Because like you said, man, you're setting these unrealistic expectations. I mean, if you have as we used to say in our day, if you find a dime, man, great. But if she's a 9, don't exclude her because she's not a 10, because she might be 10, 11, or whatever else, everywhere else. But because she don't look like, the Kim Kardashians or whomever everybody is on now, you discredit her. Because you might want to check yourself. I'm saying, if you're going to put her to the expectation, you might want to make sure you up there as well.
Nah, man, I don't know. I think we all probably have multiple people that we follow or follow us or like their page. It's a lot of people I've met in person that look nothing like what their profiles are or what their image are. Or they've been taking pictures at such a strange angle. You got to see them in that strange angle to see that. Like, but I know it was a show, Catfishing, went on forever. Mm-hmm. And man, it's hard out here in this world. Everett, what's your thought about social media making it easier or harder?
So I've been married, 5 years, 6 months. Social media was out when I was dating. It was out when I was dating my wife. I didn't really feel like it had any effect either way, because it's all in how you use it. You know what I mean? Now I will say I did have to get off Instagram. Like that just wasn't gonna work.
What you mean, Everett? What do you mean, sir?
Tell us more, sir.
You remember Big Les from Rap City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get off that social media site. That just, and it's just too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Please explain.
Nah, man, I just explained it, man. Just stay off Instagram because it's just too much. Now Facebook, that's just like people you went to school with, people you was in the army with, like people you know, people you kind of familiar with, and you just seeing what people got going on. But like, nah. And two, you have some strong discipline in your DMs, man. If somebody coming at you with something slick, just shut it down. Like, and like my thing is, I don't mind hurting your feelings if you trying to jeopardize my marriage. Like, I'm not, and again, I'm a nice guy. I try to, treat everybody fair and do right by everybody. But if I feel like you coming at my wife wrong, then I mean, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Like, that ain't something I want to play around with. And then, you at home giggling or something like that. I don't want to do nothing like that, man. So you got to police your DMs. Make sure ain't nobody stepping out of line. But just, have fun with your friends, man. Like, they're people that I was in the army with. I may never even see those people face to face in life again, but I get to watch their kids growing up. I get to watch them get married. I get to see their grandkids. We get to communicate. And that's what I like about social media. But folks be with the shenanigans. I ain't really here for it, man.
I was gonna add also.
Yes, sir.
Lamont mentioned this too. It's funny when people are like, let's say somebody's married and she'll be posting like, he better come correct, or I'm tired of hearing lies, or every day, you come in here and I don't get no help. And then when somebody might touch on like, are y'all okay? And it should be like, the person will be like, what makes you think that? I just be posting. Don't view my posts is what's going on. You're like, I mean, you come over here every day saying it's bad. I've had a bad day. I can't believe somebody ruined my day again. I woke up this morning and the person over there made it bad for me. Somebody says, how's it going? What you mean, how's it going? Why are you saying that? And you're like, every day you say that it's terrible. I think that, and also I add that one thing about social media we have to be cognizant of. I had to be cognizant of this. People are only posting a snapshot of their life.
Oh yeah,
mostly a lot better. But there's also people who post negative.
Oh yeah.
But most people just post when great things happen to them. They post, "Hey, I just got a promotion. Hey, look at this new Escalade. Hey, my boy's coming in town. Pull up the Hennessy." They don't post that when they got the diabetes report or and I think we lose sight of that. People and it seems that that's talking to women, not just me. It seems a lot of times women compare with each other. In that way, using the social media medium, and I think that's a tough thing.
Man, T, you just hit on something. That is so important. I think that social media has caused this ultra competitive type situation in women. It really have. I mean, they have it harder anyway. I guess everybody wants to feel attractive, be told that they're attractive. But now that the ante has been upped, through plastic surgeries, through this and through that. So whatever we see in the, the rap game, if she has a big butt, I need to go get me one put on, and just on and on and on and on. And I'm just like, okay, at the end of the day, who's different? Who's natural? Who's real? And, whatever a person chooses to do to enhance themselves, that's cool. But if your eyelashes are so far out there, if you blink your eyes, you're going to levitate off the ground. Maybe they need to come back a little bit. I mean, and what are you trying? What is really wrong? That's what really strikes. Like, okay, what is really wrong with you where you're not validated by your dad? What are you missing emotionally that you feel like you have to go through to all of these extremes just to compete with somebody on the gram that's living a facade? That's what it really gets me, man. So I feel for our women population, because they do. have to deal with some competitive type things. And I'm just like, you don't even be who you are. In a world where everybody claims to be different, all of them look the same. It's the ones that are really different going to stand out.
Hey, DP,
Yo.
it's some men out here trying to compete too, man, doing too much. Keep it real, man. I done seen homeless people out here flashing money on Facebook. And like, bro, I just seen you getting the free breakfast. Like, I mean, how you flashing money? And so, like, people just gotta just get out of this trying to impress people. Like if I'm impressing somebody, I want to impress you about, hey man, I got a good deal on this. Like, I got these shoes for $25, man. Look at these here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I want to impress you, like how I got over. Like, I'm not trying to show off no money or show off a lifestyle I don't have. Like we go places, I might not even post one picture. I just keep them, look at them myself. It ain't for everybody to know. And you got the Facebook bandit out here on patrol anyway, waiting for you to leave the house. So folks got to just keep their mind on the right things, man. Just stop worrying about what everybody else doing.
Kind of the same question I asked earlier about first date protocol. But this is an important question or important thought. Is it too early to talk about faith and spirituality on the first date? T, I'll start with you there.
That is good, man. That's good. I usually try to take a position. I'm that guy that I'm cool with being controversial. I try to take a position because I like having social discourse and debating. But that one right there is a tough. That's real tough. I think that I'm gonna play the safe route on that one and be like, that's in the eye of the beholder or the person or the two people. I think for me personally, I don't think it's too early because if you once again, I'm gonna put the young lady I'm dating on the Cheesecake Factory list. You tell me you're an atheist, and this
Yeah.
we can stop now. But in lieu of most people are not that, but I'm just saying, let me use the extreme example. I think saying you're a Christian is fine, or Muslim or whatever, but getting so deep into it, even if I have some Islamic brothers, letting her know that I do my 5 prayers a day at work, that might be starting to go a little too. Once you're telling you in Islam, that's cool, but yeah, and at work I got a room where I do my 2. And then, when I get home, I got another room where I do my 2, and that might be a little, like I said, controversial because maybe he wants to share that. But for me personally, I don't think I necessarily on the first date need to tell her I go to Bible study on Wednesday and then I do this on Thursday. And I'm Christian. I go to church 2 or 3 times out the month. I think that let's keep it in lieu of the other part that we was having before faith about keeping this light. Let's keep it there because the religion is a slippery slope. The deeper you go, and you might think you're being funny telling somebody you don't believe the whale swallowed the man, and she might X you out. So you don't want to go. That's not a conversation to get in frivolously first date. Let's start knowing we like each other, and then I think you more like to be okay if you hear something that you not so you might try to go with it. But on the first date, if you hear something, let's not go that deep on it.
Mr. Ponder.
Oh man, this one right here. This is a difficult one. I would say yes. I would. That would be something I would want to know. I would want to know whether or not she's a believer in God. I think there's a way that we can say that and not make it so heavy up front. I agree with T on that, but I need to know because when you say spirituality, some people worship they satanic type spirits. I need to know when we say spirituality, what are we talking about? Because I'm talking about one thing, and if you say, no, I got a Ouija board and so and so, right there, I'm exiting to the bathroom. I'll be right back, and you may not ever see it. I'm gonna leave my part for the check though, because it's a first date, so we at least splitting it 50-50. But I think that's something up front we need to know because if our spirits don't have that in common, especially depending on where I am in my faith, I can understand we may be at different levels because I may have grown up in it where she is, you know, kind of starting out. That might be an opportunity for, as I'm growing, we grow together. But we got to have some kind of common ground. There has to be some commonality there. Because like I said earlier, if she say she, you know, devil worshiper, and I would hope that she would think the same thing to me. If I come at her and be like, yeah, you know, man, I was looking and I'm just all into this and all into that. And she's like, well, I'm into God. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm into Beelzebub. We got some issues. She shouldn't even connect herself with me, nor should I connect myself with her. First date, we enjoyed the food. I hope it was good. Have a good night.
Darryl, what if she says she's a believer, but she don't really go to church?
That'll be a good conversation because I'll be wanting to know the whys. Like, you know, what happened that caused you, you know, because I understand the stigma with the church. I understand the stigma, but I want to know, okay, what caused you? Because if it's just people, hey, people everywhere and people do wrong everywhere. So that's where I would go with it, just to get an understanding.
Mr. Abel, I'm going to say this. It seems like if you ask the question about faith, you really don't have to ask some of the other questions because it'll be obvious in their actions, right? Like you can tell the way people move or don't move. For instance, asking a faith question, and then if people are blessing their food before they start or not blessing their food or how people carry themselves, you'll know what they are without them having to say all these things they are. Everett, what are your thoughts?
I mean, some people good at faking it too. So you don't really know until you know. But yeah, that's one of them where we just got to keep it moving. Like, you know, like I said.
So you would
need to be together, man, huh?
So you would ask about faith and spirituality in the first.
Yeah, that's something we got to talk about. Like
how does that, over ice cream or when the drinks are being coming out? When is that?
Man, whatever. At some point it's gonna have to come up because, like, if you want them Hebrew Israelites, like, all we gonna do is argue. Like, we ain't got nothing in common. It just ain't gonna work. You know, we might not be able to be friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you believe in God, you know, if you accept Christ, and there are people who've been through different experiences in church where they feel like they don't necessarily belong in the church. Like, that's something we can build up to and grow into. But I just don't see, and I know people like who have married people of different faiths, you know, people who marry folks who you know don't believe anything and they keep their faith. From, like I said, to each his own. I don't understand how that would work for me. And like I said, everybody it just ain't gonna work. And I'm not in the business of trying to force things that ain't meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Blessing your food is a good one too, because I've noticed when I bless my food, especially when I'm with different cultures. I used to work with a lot of different Latin people and some other things, and even some of my white friends too. I mean, honestly, I hate the stereotype because let's say I know 20 white people, there's a billion white people, but they don't never bless their food, you know. And when I bless my food, they be looking like, what's he doing or whatever. So, but blessing your food, I think, is a good one. And looking to see if the person's blessing their food, that's a good start to what's going on here.
But then some people got some arbitrary religious, like, if you sneeze and I don't say I bless you, I don't say God bless you, like, that don't make me evil.
I agree with that. But yeah, I think blessing your food meets that threshold. Yeah. I might not cancel you because you don't bless your food, but I got some more questions.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, T. Because I think what I'm hearing you say is if a person, you know, asking God to being thankful for the food, asking His blessing on it, you're saying, oh, okay, there's some type of home training that has happened in the past, has brought them to this point. Hey, maybe there's some stability there. I agree with you. I can see that. I see Everett's point too. But I'm just saying, I think you can listen to the content of the blessing of the food to determine whether or not this is just scripted or like they're genuine about what they do.
Yeah. And all of us, I think, around the same age or in the same age group. And Justin, who was on last week, brought up an interesting point that he brought his wife to the church for a couple of things. One, to see what kind of church etiquette she had been brought up with. Did she know what to do? when it was time for the collection plate to come around? Did she know when was the right time to stand, the right time to sit? Did she understand the prayer structure in the church? I don't think we're there anymore as a society. I don't see a lot of our young couples come to church anymore, when they're just dating or getting serious. So I think we're in different times there.
I ain't never been there.
Huh?
So I ain't never been there on church etiquette. And if the pastor says God is good and you just looking around, everybody else saying all the time, like that don't bother me. Like, okay, you didn't grow up in the church, or you didn't grow up in this church.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're seeking, I don't care where you are, on the journey. Like, as long as you just on the road, like, I think we can get to where we need.
You gotta take these 1940s mixed with 2025 views away. It's certain things in the black church. If I start to say, Lord, I stretch my hands to thee, I expect you to be able to follow the rest of the words of that. But so Everett, you're gonna have to take some of these mixed views. Archie Bunker meets the Jefferson views away.
I agree with you on that one, Everett.
Me too. I'm with you, Everett, as well. I'm with you, T.
Now, a couple months down the line, you need to be getting with the program all the time.
Yeah, he's just slow.
Hey, y'all, and when that collection plate is passed, I might make sure I drop something in it too if I'm going to try to show her etiquette. Right, I'm gonna have to be the lead on this. Yeah, that's a little too heavy for me. I wasn't here last week, but I'm just like, he said, so that was one of his things. He took her there and then observed to see what she was going to do. He didn't even prep her to let her know what was going on.
No, he didn't prep her. That was his.
That right there. I don't know about that one, man. That was a little salty to me. It's kind of like putting them out in the fire and be like, okay, let me see how you roll with this. Every church has different etiquette. So what if they go to another church and then she understands, but then another church don't understand? Tell them that was a little heavy.
Hey, I guess she was gonna get X'd out. She was gonna get when the pastor say turn to your neighbor, she better know what to do.
Man, that's too much going on for me. But hey,
this is also a good point that when we were younger, most of our friends and relationships were people we grew up around or within. If we went to grandma's house, went to our aunt's house, I'm the only people we know. And if we had to call them, we were calling them on the payphone, or because long distance was going to eat our parents up back in the day. But now kids are connected all over the world, and you can meet and have relationships all over the world. So I'm just reading this comment, how different it must be now to date. Where for us, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, and everyone I knew did the same thing. People went to similar churches, but now you can meet in neighborhoods that are so diverse. It's probably a totally different dating experience out there for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna take us a little bit south for our last question.
Hold on for a second. All right, go ahead.
But the same question I asked for the women. The question would be, is there a limit if you're not only dating, but you want to start a relationship with someone? There is a baby daddy limit. Is it, if she has multiple kids, multiple men, is a time to say, nah, I'm out of this. Dealing with two dudes. And I give an example that no man wants another man to discipline their child. And me and Everett get into this serious argument about that. But I just think that's like a number one rule thing. No man wants another man to put his hands on his child. So if you're dealing with a lady that has kids by other men, is there a limit for that? T, I see your wheels turning.
Is there a limit for her amount of child's fathers?
Mm-hmm. That was a quick look, T. Yes, sir.
I'm becoming more understanding in life. When I was younger, it really was. The older we get, I guess it matters less too, to a degree. I think you probably still could look at what's the choices she made, even though we're 50. But I think when I was younger, 3 was the number when I was younger. That was you didn't want any, right? I mean, let me start from there. You prefer none. But 1 was like, okay, people, it happens. You know, 2 was like, okay, we're stretching. You know, that man, that's okay. But I like her a lot. You know, I like her a lot. You know, let me see. 3 was like the magic number of like, you know, at the time. But the older I've gotten, and you know, as life moves on, and you start kind of really realizing everybody has a different path, different things they've been through, and you start wanting to be less judgmental, because I start saying, what can you look at me and X me out because of, you know? And so I put that to rest. That's actually something I prayed about, actually, to be honest, not to, and just in general, not to be judgmental of people in that way. I say all the time, whether that bus driver thing or Cheesecake Factory, we got to find more reasons to grab each other and bring each other in, instead of creating more reasons to X each other out.
Mhm.
It's not working out. Like,
Mhm.
we're having this big, that's why it's always a social media discourse on men, women, this, that, why, if he's a bus driver and we don't want to date him if they're this, we're losing the battle. We're losing ground with our families. And so I think we got to start being more inclusive than, I'm glad I was able to be honest about that. I didn't even want to say that, but even thinking about, where did that come from? Who taught me that? What made me think that? Was that something I learned in the church? Was that something my grandmother put in me? My mother? Do I really think that? That's a question I had to ask myself. And I came to the conclusion that I didn't really think that. I didn't really think that number. I thought that if I took her home to my mother, this is so deep, because this is going on in my subconscious. I'm thinking, if I take her home to my mother or my grandmother, my aunts, like, I don't know. That I hadn't even stopped to ask myself how I feel. How I feel. Do I X her out for having 3 child's fathers? And so now, at the point, I'm getting closer to 50. I'm 47. I'm going to say that's not something that would make me X somebody out based on their number of child's fathers, within reason.
Okay. T, I got a question. Lamont, let me ask T a question.
Please.
So what if all 4 or 5 of them are crazy? And I mean crazy. We're talking about the baby daddies. And it's just so much friction all of the time. And you see the friction between them. And of course, you know there's gonna be friction amongst the men. That comes natural. Well, how would you address that?
And that's an easy question to answer, because you don't even got to say 4 or 5. It only takes one of them. It only takes one of them. That if you haven't gotten that together, and like I said, the older we get, I think the better, because when we were in our 20s, it seemed like, now if I date a woman and she has kids, they're like 23, 25. It seems like that chapter of her life is in the past. Now, when I'm 27 and the kid was 1 and 3, that's when dudes still popping up. Man, hey, you know, this, that, and third. So
with my son.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a great point. I think all that takes is one. If you haven't cleaned that up enough, I was taught something different. I don't want to fight nobody, shoot nobody. I don't want nobody shooting at me. I have a child's mother. I'm somebody's child's father, and I'm not bringing none of that type of deal environment. So if I see that, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
I'll let you answer next, Mr. Ponder.
Oh, wow. Limit, I can't say. I mean, you know, I can say, man, when I was younger, I'm with T. I used to say, man, I'd never date a woman who had a child until I went through experienced divorce, had a child. It changed my whole perspective. Well, you know, I have a child. My daughter, you know, we're growing up under the same household. And I'm like, well, gosh, I can't X somebody out now for having a child. And I have one. Come on. You know, but then I had to start thinking. I was like, okay, everybody's experience is different. So what if just hypothetically she was with 3 guys, all 3 of them passed for whatever reason? So do we X her out because every child's father she had died of some type of cause? That's out of her control. She didn't have anything to do with that. So what if she's had 4 or 5 baby daddies? I do have a conversation. We need to have, because I want to know what happened from the standpoint, okay, why is there a repetitiveness of I get one, we have a child, now he's gone? There are a lot of questions. How involved are the fathers in their lives? I'm with you, T. Do you all have friction? Because if you all have friction, we're going to have friction. I just don't need to be standing somewhere and I'm wondering who's gonna jump out of what corner at me just because I'm with you now and they're not. That's too much to be going on. So while I'm not exiting out, because she might be a great person, but the situation, Ever keeps saying that everybody ain't for everybody. That situation definitely would not be for me. You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
We too old to be fighting all the time now. That's too much.
I gotta disagree with you on one thing, DP.
What's that?
If I meet if I met a woman with 3 dead baby daddies, she bad luck, man.
What she do wrong?
I don't want to be number 4. I got a couple things I want to do first.
Okay, so you taking that real personal, right? You like,
Let me
what kind of juju is she working on them?
Everyone want to see them autopsies. Like, what,
Yeah, really.
What the report say?
They all died after a meal.
Yeah. Hey, or AT, those natural causes, you be like, okay, what is really going on?
Everett on to something on that one.
Yeah, I can't do that, man.
So you out,
Get me
Everett.
out.
I'm glad you had me think about that one differently. I'll be out too.
Yeah, but I agree with really what all y'all saying. The main thing is who are these individuals? You know what I mean? You dealing with some mature people who handle things correctly, or you dealing with folks who using babies, using kids as leverage, you know, to get back at somebody. You got a guy who don't know that the relationship is over with and don't think it's ever gonna be over with, and like all that kind of stuff is what matters. It's not necessarily the number. Like some numbers, I guess if you hear it, it'll freak you out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it should necessarily be the numbers, because like you don't know the circumstances. And if you I think about, and these are celebrities, but Andre and Erykah Badu and DOC, I mean, all them seem to get along. Their kids get along.
What's the other guy? He's famous too.
She dated Carmen. I don't think she had a baby.
Yeah, I don't think that is by no.
Good gracious, not Joey Electrica.
But she had him acting weird too, though.
But that's the other part. You know, outside of that weirdness, but the whole maturity of, hey, like we gotta raise these kids, and you figure out a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that part was me and Lamont debate all the time about men don't want other men disciplining their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you might want to take that little joker with you, man, because he ain't gonna whip you out, man. He's not having it.
Everywhere you go.
Hey.
As we get older, I think we all said this in our own different way too. Like, let's just say she had 3 baby daddies,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she had them when she was 17, 19, and 22.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I'm meeting her, she's 48.
Mm-hmm.
I still touch on Daryl's point of, even one day we're going to get to, like, you know, what was the traumas you came from, that
Mm-hmm.
how that happened. But that's so far in the past, it's almost hard to,
Yeah.
That'd be very judgmental. Like 30 years ago, her kids are 30 now. I mean, and so I still think it's a topic,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you got to be past that at this point.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, man. Because she's grown. Hopefully she's grown. Yeah. I mean, you don't, like you said, you don't know what she experienced. What if that's what she saw in her home? So
exactly
what mama did.
And I would think more often than not, you came from a broken place,
right?
When that's happening like that. But at some point, you figured it out. Like
right.
you stopped at 22.
Right, exactly.
Did you say it? So?
Aaron, you said a number. You said it's not about the number.
No.
What about 10?
I was about to say, Everett did say some numbers you hear freak you out.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for any of us to say, what is that freak you out number? Who's gonna jump off the fence first?
99 won't do.
What'd you say, Mike?
I said 99 won't do.
99. See, that was still safe, Mike. What's a freak you out number?
But it would be the same as if a guy had multiple kids by multiple women. There's something else going on there that I think on a date, you know, you got to figure this out, because you don't want to be adding to that collection either.
So, question then: why then are some why are some women adding to the number then? I'm thinking like a Nick Cannon. I'm thinking like, man, I know some dudes. I got a cousin that's got a whole bunch of babies. He almost 3 shy of a doggone football team, man. I'm just like, so, but it don't stop. It don't stop him from being able to get another one. Man, I'm trying to figure out and there's no slight to Jazzy, but the lady that Cam Newton is dating now. Man, I remember on IG where she was just slamming baby mamas. And now you become one?
But
And you done figured it out? Like
she got the cheat code. Cam Newton's salary.
yeah, she got the
cheat code too.
Space Cowboy. He's something else, man.
I think you asked the question, Daryl, which was how do guys keep adding to the number, and how does a new victim come in and know it's okay? I think those are broken people, man, on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Those are broken people. Like, you know, if I tell, Deidre just posted, how did your cousin have 15 baby moms? Like, how?
Yeah.
Like, this is a whole broken, you know,
cycle.
Yeah. I don't think any of us can really relate personally in our life. How does that, like, what is that?
No, you're not trying to be careful.
That's almost,
you know what I'm saying? You're not even
on this panel. Who's a friend or family member? What's the most baby mamas you know of? A cousin, an uncle?
Man,
I don't know.
I got a cousin that has 8.
You have what'd you say, Dad?
8. 2 sets of twins. So I mean, you know,
seven.
You
said a cousin?
Yeah, cousin. I have a cousin.
Somebody you know has 4.
Probably 4 or 5 kids. But there's
baby
some
mamas.
folks out there got a lot of baby mamas.
Oh, baby mamas. Out of those baby mamas, he has. My cousin has 4.
Yeah, that's the issue is the number of child's mothers, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you have 11 with one person, I mean that's a lot of jokes, but
right.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. So the issue is the number of 4. I think the most I know too is 3 or 4, maybe. Mm-hmm. And in the family, people kind of look at him sideways. That number Deidre just put out there is like that. Yeah. What do you call it? Where's the intervention with grandma and them?
Well, somebody needs to snatch somebody.
All right. As we get ready to wrap up, great conversation, went very fast, even though T was trying to direct us and do some other stuff. So my final question as we wrap up, any final thoughts, anything from advice from the man that you are today, any advice that you would give to your younger 18-year-old self about dating? And I'll start with you, Mr. Ponder.
Oh man, the advice I would give, it's what my grandfather gave, man. My grandfather gave me some advice. I'm gonna use what he said. He said, you know what? There's only so many cranks in a lawnmower. He said, so be careful how often you crank it and how hard you crank it, and what kind of gas you put in it, and more importantly, what kind of grass you cut. He said, because all grass is not good grass. Some grass is full of weeds, and you'll get something. So be careful. He said, when you need that lawnmower, if you done used it too much, it won't crank when you need to be able to crank it. And I never knew what he's talking about. My dad explained it to me, and I said, oh.
That's a deep one.
Yes, sir. So I'm glad I'm just going to, I'm transparent. I'm glad I didn't crank my lawnmower too much.
T, final thoughts?
I've spoken on this before, I think on Higher Definition, and I'm a big advocate for this. I'm actually want to maybe start a platform about this. This is one of those nuanced things I think is a problem in our community for me that I've saw is like your uncle, when you're young, your uncles and your fathers are like Superman to you, right? Like most of your uncles, your big cousins or whatever. And I distinctly remember me, and I saw it with my friends too. You know, when you're young, you start smelling yourself, as they say, and you start dating, you start becoming you get a car and you meet a girl and you find out 2 girls like you, and you know, you'll go on a date with one and go on a date with the other, and then she go to school across there. And I distinctly remember not getting the guidance from my heroes, more so that it was a pound. It was a pound. And that then led me to have that same way we're talking about a woman who has 5 child's fathers probably came through something. That didn't have me with my nephews and my little cousins, like, light skin when you had Thursday, you know, and it's almost cool if nobody never stops the cycle to tell you that this is not okay. And I think not only I do believe that, like, as a young man, there's something different in young men hormonally. I've got arguments with people about that. It's a reason why young men usually probably will date all the cheerleaders. Young women hardly ever want to date the whole basketball team. So to me, nobody had to teach us that. We thought different. So I think that there's something there, but I think somebody needs to explain to us when we're young as a plant. And the things that happen to you as a plant, usually you'll carry on throughout your life. So when my uncle pound me up and say, "What the red one on Friday?" That was the green light. This was okay behavior. I'm not trying to make excuse. I'm trying to help here. Like I'm 15, and Superman just not only did he tell me it was okay, he gave me props for it. It was you know what I'm saying? Like I've arrived and I'm doing the right thing. I need to bring more. You know, like, and so I want to start that. And everybody is not under that. I think we on this show. I think one of you guys said I didn't see that, but that happens a lot in our community, and nobody says, "Hey, I don't think you got to put me over and say whatever. Like, don't date nobody." But hey, explain to me what my actions could create. Explain to me you could end up with different child's mothers.
Yeah.
Explain to me the broken something that took me 40 years of my life to learn or really understand. Is leaving a trail of broken people. You just be like, "Oh, that's over. It didn't work. I don't like her no more. You know, she don't like me no more, or whatever." But doubling back and having some conversations with women I dated in my 20s and seeing the impact that it had on them. And at first I was defensive and like, you know, it was only 2 months. Like, what are you talking about? But when I had to really check myself and look in the mirror and she's telling me the impact, like you were very casual with me. Like you were very dismissive of me at the end. Like, you know, and I attribute that to tie all this together. After doing some work and research, I attribute that and some of my friends with seeing that from a plant being exposed to like giving me that pound all the way back then. So that's one of the things I would definitely go back and tell young Tamaya that, hey man, it's cool. You're new, you're young, you play basketball. I get that. But let me tell you about the other side of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I like that, brother.
That's a good point, man. And to even drive that point home further is that not only are young men not getting that type of guidance, like these young girls out here are being misled down the same direction. If you look, you know, what's acceptable, what we see on TV, what type of music they listen to, and all the role models are just teaching something that at least when we was coming up, you know, the girl was kind of the gatekeeper. You know, so now Gates is wide open these days, and all kinds of stuff is going on. So
yeah,
it's hard for me to even give any advice to this young generation because I'm just so I don't really understand. But one thing I'll say that I say at every relationship show, and people, you know, I guess get tired of me saying it, is that, you know, most relationships fail in the selection process. Like people are looking for the wrong things.
Yeah.
They had a wrong priority. Nothing wrong with having deal breakers or setting some priorities, but make it around things that actually matter. You know, not just superficial things. So I like I said, this young generation, I don't want to sound like no old man, but I guess I got to put my old man hat on for a second. Like I don't understand the eyelashes. I don't understand the long fingernails with Fruit Loops and Skittles on them, and the Crocs, and you know, talking on a speakerphone. Like it's like a lot of stuff that people into these days is just way beyond me. It's just hard to imagine these people as mothers and grandmothers and responsible citizens. But again, I'm being judgmental, and I don't really want to do that. But like I said, man, these young folks, man, all I can like. That's one thing I said this morning is that two people I feel sorry for, and this day and time are people who trying to buy a house and people who trying to start a relationship. Like, I don't know what to do.
That's a great point you expanded
Yeah.
to me about the young ladies getting out there now. That's
Yeah.
a great point. And all I can say to that is we got to start somewhere. And my
Mhm.
start is going to be with the
Yeah.
young men, because I saw that so prevalent even back then.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you, T. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, to Everett's point, man. Yeah, it is difficult. It's difficult because it's something we don't understand. We didn't grow up that way, so it makes it difficult. But to T's point, man, we have to do something, because for the brothers who've come out and understand it differently and can look back and be like, yeah, man, I know it feels good to be able to say you with her and her and her. But if I was dating this day and age, I'd be afraid to try to play 2 or 3 women, because now back in the day they was crying. Now they shoot. So I ain't even put myself in that situation, man. And these young cats got to know too. Hey, you don't. But what's happening is that now, like you said, the women used to be the gatekeeper. Now they're the ones who are instigating. You're like, what has really happened, man? And they making it easier for the men for these young guys who haven't been trained, don't have that maturity. They're making it easier for them. It's like a fertile ground for them to be who they are at that age. And then they say there's no good men. Well, and men saying there are no good girls. Well, you need to quit trying to sleep with every one of them you see. And girl, you need to quit going by picking him up. My dad made me go, I had to go pick her up. Not she coming to get me. And he driving out all her gas. And, it's the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life, man. And then I'm just like, okay, so you all this is how it is. This is how it is now. Yeah. So we're gonna have to be an example. And to your point, T, we're gonna have to have a conversation.
I want to thank everyone for watching. Listen, it's been a great conversation. It's really flown by. And because I took part in the one we did with the women, to hear the contrast on how men think versus women think, I think we all know we have different logics on life a lot of times. What's the book? Women are from Mars, men are from Venus.
No, backwards. Women are from men are from Mars. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I struggle getting out of kindergarten, so you have to forgive me sometimes.
It's all good. I saved you before they got you in the comments.
I got you. So want to thank everyone for taking part, because these are important discussions to have, and for a lot of reasons. One, we're living in a generation and starting to see dating in a little bit more dangerous way. In a dangerous way can really mess folks up long term. Mm-hmm. And I think when we were young, we didn't realize some of the poor decisions we made as teenagers or early adults could really wreck your life or get you to a bad starting place. So having these open discussions, not only with our kids, man, some adults need to be, some 40, 50, 60-year-olds need to be out here having these real conversations about what they're doing and how they handle themselves. So I want to say thank you for that. T, as always, it was great. You always trying to direct the show. You trying to be the audio guy. You trying to be all these different people, but just be T back there. So we want to thank you.
Good job, T.
Yeah.
Mr. Ponder, first time meeting you. It was great, sir. Really good.
Yeah, appreciate it. First time meeting you guys. Hey, man, I totally enjoyed it. I definitely would like to come on the show again, just to be in the number, just to hear the energy pass back and forth, and also, T, link up and see what we can do to change some of these young guys before they get too far gone.
Absolutely.
There you go.
No, and that's what this is all about. And passing and closing, me and Everett went to a men's fellowship yesterday, and it was powerful. And I'll say this because it's 4 men here, and I apologize for people we ran over time or running over time. But where do men have a safe space to talk? When I say this, I walk around this house saying that. I say this to Everett all the time. If you have real serious issues, who really wants to hear your issues? Or are they going to tell you, I got my own issues, you need to figure it out? Mm-hmm. And I already know the 1940s answer to that. Suck it up. We need to continue on.
Yeah, man up.
But it's a different world we're in. As you see so many, especially African-American men, die so much earlier than women. And you bottled so much in, or poor health care. It's a combination of things, poor choices. So I was glad that we got invited by Pastor Ed to take part in this event yesterday. Everett, any thoughts?
Oh, I'm on mute. Yeah, man. Like I said, it's a great thing. It's something we're talking about starting up at our church, and there are a lot of men who are hungering for this same thing. So, you know, your Union Baptist, y'all had a brotherhood. So let's do it, man. Like we've been talking about it for a long time. So, you know, we need to start getting together, man, and having these conversations.
I would add to
That's
that.
good.
I would add to that. One of the great things about social media, let's say, is you can now really be the change you want to be.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know, Daryl Lamont has this wonderful segment he does, but he does a spotlight on people in the community.
Mhm.
He went on me before, and one of my good friends, and it was great. Lamont can speak more to why he started it. You know, we are just regular guys. Like you would go to his house, and he got a spotlight, and he asked you how you grew up and
Mhm.
what's your job title now. And I consider that him being the change he wants to be. He says he wants to spotlight people in our community, regular people in our community doing regular things. But that's who we need to be showing people instead of all the time the same people. Puffy,
Right.
Jay-Z, Beyonce, like this regular person can be a mentor. Daryl
Right.
can be a mentor. Tamaya can be a mentor. And you can touch them. You can touch them. So I think to the point you guys had that thing yesterday, and Everett just said that, that's something I'm learning. You can be the change you want to be. I've been talking about starting this thing for young men on that topic for a couple years now. What I'm waiting on. And Daryl, I'll get your information from the show for Everett or whatever. And yeah, man, I think I would just add to that, like we all can be the change we want to be in
Right.
the same time.
I like that, brother. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Say this in closing. For the people, if this is your first time watching, I know a lot of people from Shady Grove. I see it keep popping across. So watching. What we do for High Definition is very, very positive. And for the people that Everett wouldn't take part in it if we were doing a bunch of foolishness. And that's a straight talk. That ain't no playing around. He's just not about that. I'm about all of it. I'll joke around, play around, I'll be petty, all the same. But Everett is not about that. But we do have a very positive impact that we have made for about 16 years. And if you go through our page, you'll see spotlight videos, over 200 videos that were done. And we're still doing more about people, just regular people, doctors, lawyers, regular folks in our community, teachers, the mailman, just showing them doing positive stuff, talking about themselves. So we also have a written history of ourselves that someone can go back and say, oh, that's what grandma sounded like. That's what grandpa sounded like. This is what grandma thought about herself. This is what grandma thought about my mama, you know, so it's important. And T is right. Instead of all of us always just talking about stuff, just take action, take the first step. And then the next step might be a little bit harder. Get help taking that next step. But there's more than enough resources out there. And with that, I know we ran over. I apologize. I want to say have a great night. Have a blessed week. Next week, we're back to our regular seriousness. Everett will lead our show on just talking about the resources that we get from God and how we can be better stewards of our resources and things out in the community at times when we're talking about helping people. So have a blessed and safe week. Please, if you haven't got yourself right, if you look around and you see all this death instruction, it's probably time for you to bring yourself on home and get yourself right. Have a blessed and safe night, everyone.
Have a good one, brothers.
Good night.
God
Good
bless.
night.